Hi, everybody. This is Dave Gibson with CoStar Real Estate Manager. Thank you so much for being here today. Starting a couple minutes late today. We had a little bit of a go to meeting problem, but we're past that. We're ready to dive in. Appreciate your time today and joining us for our customer success event. So I'm going to kick us off today, and a couple things quickly. First, thanks for being our customer. Today we have approximately 275 people on this event from many different industries across real estate functions, accounting functions, and others. And we appreciate very much you being a customer of CoStar Real Estate Manager and for attending today. Thanks also for your time. Everybody's busy out there. And to give us a portion of your time today, we're very grateful for that. And we thank you very much for your time. And finally, stay safe out there. CoStar is committed to the health and safety and well-being of our employees as well as our customers. And just know that we're thinking about you in today's times. And stay safe out there. And we look forward to today's journey with you. And thanks again for attending. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our agenda today, just to walk you through quickly. Andy Thomas, our president, and I will start off for about an hour to give you some updates on 2020 and a look ahead on what's next with CoStar. At 1:15, we've got a session about market trends that are impacting office, retail, and industrial real estate space. We really would like for you to attend that session as well. And even if you're on the accounting side of our business, it's a really terrific session for you to gain some insight into what's going on in the real estate marketplace and the data that ultimately affects your world as well. At 2:15, we've got a presentation about our portfolio planning capabilities and some new reporting that we have available to you, and portfolio planning and management more generally. Following that, there are two sessions from our different centers of excellence. At 3 o'clock, our Portfolio Administration Center of Excellence will talk about issues and the matters affecting portfolio administration today, mostly aimed at real estate. But again, if you're in the accounting world, we invite you to attend. You'll learn a lot about the data on the real estate side of the business that ultimately comes over to your side of the business on accounting and what affects change over there. At 4 o'clock, our Lease Accounting Center of Excellence will also have a panel. In both of those panels, we'll have customers that will share their insights into both of those topics. And then I'll be wrapping us up today at about 4:45. So thanks for being on the journey with us today, and we appreciate your time. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Andy Thomas, the president of CoStar Real Estate Manager, and Andy's going to kick us off and get us going, and then I will join you in a few minutes. Thanks again for attending, and off we go.
Okay, thank you, and welcome again, everyone. I am confirming that I have been made the presenter and can shift these slides.
Andy, you should now have control.
Okay, it's saying show my screen though. And I need to have control of Kelly's slides. So I will go ahead and start talking about the topic. Convi, can you just double check the slides?
Yeah, absolutely. The screen that you're seeing right now, is that the slide?
Okay. I'm going to turn off my webcam.
Okay.
And I cannot see the slides.
What happened to the shoe? You're just supposed to hand the mouse.
So I'm now seeing the slides.
Okay, perfect. And you have keyboard and mouse controls, but we'll be presenting from this screen. So you can go ahead and change the slides as and when you speak.
Okay, it doesn't seem to be changing the slides though. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll give you a cue to change the slides if it's not changing.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And we're live, right?
Correct.
Okay, so folks, sorry about that that delay. We've practiced this several times, and we are going to go ahead and move on now from here. So CoStar Real Estate Manager, we welcome you. We're excited that you're here. Sorry that we aren't able to see you in person. We've done that many times before. As a brief primer, CoStar Real Estate Manager has been serving lease administration, lease accounting, and other corporate real estate needs for over 20 years. We've been a part of the CoStar group for the last 9 years, in fact, this week. We appreciate the opportunity to grow with many of you over this very long period of time and look forward to continue to expand our capabilities in working with you. Next. Being a part of CoStar means that we are financially strong and a part of the largest provider of data analytics and marketing solutions to the real estate industry. 25 brands, thousands of users and customers means you are part of the largest real estate network and community globally. We continue to work to bring this power of CoStar to the products we deliver to you, and we will talk about some of those things that we're doing today. Next. CoStar Real Estate Manager operates under the CoStar brand of CoStar Group, but we also have sister brands in Apartments.com, which you may have seen, LoopNet, Lands of America, BizBuySell. They are all number one, number two in their markets and absolute leaders in providing services to our customers, and in many cases across the spectrum to you all. Next. While CoStar has been operating in North America for over 30 years, we've been operating in the UK and France for the last 20, and we've continued to expand into other parts of the world. Through more recent acquisitions, CoStar Group has expanded to having clients in 39 countries. Over the near and medium term, the CoStar information product will specifically expand to become more global, and this will lead to more global expansion for CoStar Real Estate Manager capabilities as well. So stay tuned with us. We now have 83 offices across North America, Europe, and even a few in Asia Pac. So CoStar support, as the strength of CoStar has helped support our preparedness to continue to serve you. This pandemic has hit all of us swiftly and without prejudice. We have all been required to respond in order to keep our businesses on track. This means, in all of our cases, keeping our customers on track. The strong financial position of our company has allowed us to do this for our customers. You will hear more about some of the specific things we're doing, but we were not a mobile workforce when the pandemic hit, so we quickly mobilized 4,500 employees. We increased our customer communications to fill the gaps with you all. We launched and continue growing our customer outreach activities. We've continued to advance the application, which over the course of the last 7 months, you've continued to hear about. And then we're also growing our platform and security infrastructure to meet those ever increasing needs as well. We're also working to create more opportunities like this and some other things that you'll hear about to bring more of our customers together. Interestingly, just a side note, CoStar Group, just a whole range of things that we've done in our facilities. We are not back in the office on any regular basis, although we have some limited folks who are back in the office. But the range of things we've done in our facilities to prepare ourselves to go back on some limited basis has been overwhelming, and I know many of you all have experienced that too. So you're in good company. No, actually, you're in great company. When you look at the companies who are both signed up here today and are customers of CoStar Real Estate Manager, you can see that it's a veritable who's who of globally known companies, and you guys are all a part of that. And by being a part of it, you help us get better, and as well, you help us serve you all and your needs better as well. When you look at the numbers, you can see we've got over 375 unique application sites. There are actually over 700 companies on our software, on the Real Estate Manager software specifically, over almost 500,000 real estate locations and leases, more than 500,000 non-real estate leases and equipment leases with the lease accounting requirements, 55,000 projects and transactions being managed, and over 26,000 users on Real Estate Manager alone. So you're in great company. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. It's something that over the 20 years of my being in this role, we've wanted to make sure that we reinforce. And now I'm going to hand it back to Dave, and he's going to walk through some of the things that we've done most recently to continue to make sure we are providing service to you so you can meet the needs of your company. Dave?
Hi, thanks, Andy. I appreciate that. And yeah, so Andy mentioned CoStar Corporation and the strength of the company. And I would share with all of our customers today that strength and that financial strength has allowed us to invest in your customer journey. And today I get the great pleasure of really talking about what our other organizations have been doing to improve the customer journey and improve your success with our products. So through Andy's leadership and the backing of CoStar, we've invested in the people, the process, the tools, and the infrastructure to ensure your success with our solutions and our applications. So I want to walk through the various areas of our company and just give you an update on what we've been up to in 2020. Our customer success organization was formed in late 2019 and expanded in 2020. A way for you to look at this organization is it's the voice of the customer. And this organization is particularly focused on adopting our solutions and getting the best business value from our solutions. This group works to understand what customer success is from your perspective and helps you achieve customer success. And it focuses on sharing recommendations, whether it's application utilization or how you interact with support, and also in giving you a forward look as it relates to enhancements and product releases. One of the really great accomplishments of this group in 2020 here in the last couple of months is the forming of our Customer Advisory Council. This is really an important new construct for us. It's a group of 10 companies from a widely varying set of industries and also cross-functional. There's obviously real estate professionals in the Customer Advisory Council and accounting professionals, and they will begin to meet quarterly. And the purpose of the Advisory Council, as the name implies, is we want to understand the trends and drivers about your business. And we want to check those trends and drivers against our plans, our strategies, and our product direction. We also want to just review and brainstorm new ideas about products and direction and get feedback on other areas of CoStar to make sure that you're utilizing all the services and processes that we have to offer. We're excited about the launch of the Customer Advisory Council and what it brings in terms of business value for both us as well as you all as customers, because you've got even more of a voice within CoStar Real Estate Manager. So I've talked about that customer success organization here on the left, and think about customer success, those of you that have engaged with customer success, as being longer term, business value oriented, more predictive, and more focused on the value side of CoStar Real Estate Manager solutions. I explain that because in pivoting to customer services, or excuse me, client services or support, it's a different organization, and these two are complementary. Customer support or client services is more shorter term perspective. They're reacting to your inbound requests to our organization. These organizations are measured differently. Client services or support, they're measured on efficiency and closing cases and being responsive to your needs, and more focused on customer satisfaction. You know, we're all focused on customer satisfaction, but more focused on customer satisfaction than perhaps customer value, which is the focus for customer success. So everyone on this call interfaces with our client services or our support organization, and we thank you for your dialogue. And this organization has worked hard in 2020 to improve our client services and our customer support. We put in place new infrastructure for you to enter support tickets. And not only is this an easier environment to use, but it's an easier environment for us to collaborate on the status of your issues. This organization also issued over 400 customer satisfaction surveys. You know, that's a lot of work on our part, but here's the more important part. You guys responded, and we appreciate very much our customers responding to our surveys. And I will say, and we all know, we don't always get positive feedback. We know we always have work to do in client services and support, but part of the journey is you telling us where we need to improve and responding to our customer satisfaction surveys. And so for those of you that did respond, thank you very much for the input. We're going to work harder and work on that path of continuous improvement. And throughout 2020, this organization has decreased escalations, case volumes, and certainly priority one cases throughout the year, and they'll continue on that journey with your help in communicating with us and achieving the support SLAs. Just about everyone in today's audience is on our standard support. We actually have over 700 customers out there, and our direct customers, almost everyone is on our standard support. But in 2020, many of you told us that you needed more. You wanted different support offerings to add different levels of service that you needed to do the best job with your business. So in the second half of 2020, we launched our Premier and our Enterprise support offerings as complements or expansions to our standard support offerings. Now, I won't walk everyone through all the details of this, but if you look at the left-hand side and you look at some of those additional services like application testing and use cases, or smoke testing on new releases, or root cause analysis, or sitting with you and doing a monthly support case review. These are all additional services that are now available as part of our tiered support plans. And if you look to the right, you can see that a Premier customer gets certain numbers of those services included. And if you look at an Enterprise customer, which is the next tier up, let's take an example of application testing and use cases. You see the word customize there. So that means it goes to the next level up and customizes those services for your particular instance of CoStar Real Estate Manager. So there's a lot of enhanced services now available in two tiers, Premier and Enterprise. Also, if you look at how we resource in to those two levels of service, that first category there of assigned support contacts, if you're a Premier customer of ours, you're assigned to a group of our support professionals that address the Premier support customers. If you're in our Enterprise tier, you have a support lead that is assigned to you. Finally, at the Enterprise level, there is priority case management, quarterly business reviews available to you, and participation and access to that customer advisory council that I mentioned. So these extra tiers of support, they're admittedly more aimed at Enterprise customers with more complex needs, who look for an extra layer or two of support to help manage their business and get the highest and best value out of CoStar solutions and products. So we're very excited about our premier and enterprise support offerings. Another area where we've invested heavily is educational development and training. I think the key takeaway for this group is content, content, content. This group has done so much good work on behalf of you as customers to supply introductory e-learning videos and scenario-based training and self-paced workbooks. And in our current times, as Andy mentioned, this online content, this real-time content integrated with the application is more important than ever. Lets you get the highest and best use of our products. And I really want to mention two things here on this slide. In the last month, over 400 of these videos have been consumed by you as customers. And we have a widely varying group out there, people in the real estate function, transaction management function, the accounting function. All of you are consuming this content. If you're on the call today and you're not consuming this content, please do so. And if you need some help in navigating it, please contact us. Over 400 of these videos were viewed in the last 30 days. And I just want to emphasize how much business value you get, and it's at your pace, when you need it, when you have the time to consume it. And it's terrific valued content for you as our customers. Another big improvement in 2020 is the addition of the Resource Center in the product. Now, not everyone on our call today is an end user of our product. I believe most of you are as we look at the attendee list. But this is basically in-app help, again, content that helps you get the highest and most productive use of our application. It's page specific. It gives step-by-step directions for many of the in-app functions. And if you think about a feature like this and our investment in this, it helps you with your highest and best productivity. It also helps you with personnel transitions and people that might be less familiar with the application come into your environment. Same with the videos I mentioned before in terms of onboarding new personnel. So tremendous amount of value available from our training and educational development group. I'd like to now talk about our two centers of excellence. Again, and you will hear me say frequently, real business value that we invested in for you as our customers, and we're excited about the Lease Accounting Center of Excellence. It combines the decades of experience we have in our application team, our accounting team, and all the accounting experience in our company with the experience of you, our customers. And it is a center of excellence where we combine our experience and peer experience to share best practices, obviously industry knowledge sharing and application knowledge sharing. There are monthly events from the Lease Accounting COE, and many of you have already taken advantage of the Center of Excellence. We're so pleased to see the level of take up by you as customers. You have helped us define the topics, and as we've delivered the topics, the number of you as companies that have participated is a real big success in terms of sharing information. We have over 100 companies that attend almost every Center of Excellence event, and you can see the timely topics there on the right, whether it's around remeasurement topics or disclosure reporting or functional currency or year-end reporting, whatever the topic might be. These are monthly, widely attended, and you'll hear me send this message frequently. If you're with us today and you're not taking advantage of this, please do so. It's great business value. It'll help you with your customer journey. It will help you get the highest and best use of our solutions and products and services. So similarly, there's a Portfolio Administration Center of Excellence, obviously more real estate focused. And this Center of Excellence helps customers achieve optimum real estate portfolio performance in the same way that the Accounting Center of Excellence does, by sharing best practices and shared knowledge from two sources: all the expertise within CoStar Real Estate Manager, which is decades long, and the expertise of peers and companies like you that are with us today. Now, I'll quickly show you some of the topics that are being shared by the Center of Excellence, and their workflows around making data updates within our application, modifying or declining lease options, how to manage percentage rent in our applications, how to deal with the various issues associated with taxes. So timely topics, shared with you all as our customers and coming from the perspective of both our professionals and you as customers. So a word about our services organization. Almost everyone on this call today, or each of you as companies, has engaged our services organization. This organization has successfully completed hundreds of projects for customers. In 2020, they've already done 250 customer service requests, just to give you a sense of how busy they are. It's a talented group of professionals. And as you think about their role with you as a customer, think about when you need application changes or some small project within the application that you need assistance with. This group is engaged if we add a new module. Let's say you're a lease accounting customer and you add our lease administration capabilities, or lease administration and you add our lease accounting, or you'd like to implement our transaction management module. This group is engaged to do so. Also, they help with matters like custom reporting, and we've seen a lot of activity with our customers in acquisitions and dispositions, and this creates a system disruption where you usually have to pull out a portfolio and maybe take it to a new company entity, and so there's services work to do to support that. And then finally, a really important topic for this group is the topic of integrations. This group has tremendous depth of experience in delivering, and we support over 700 systems integrations. And if you look to the right, these are common systems that we integrate with. So if I think about our customers that are out there today, many of you have these integrations in place. However, many of you may not have them, or maybe you have some additional ones that you need. So whether it's those of you on the real estate side of the business who are using or could take advantage of an AP integration or an AP history integration, or on the accounting side in your GL integration, there's a wide variety of integrations that help you with automation, and automation helps you move faster, increases the quality of your data, and helps you with things like audit and internal process. A word about what's been happening on the technology and infrastructure side. You see the benefits of this, but it's in the back, but it's the important foundational work that is underneath our platform and our application. We now monitor site availability around the world in 3 regions here in the US, in Europe, and in Asia, over in Singapore. So we proactively check the responsiveness of the application in those regions. We've also greatly upgraded our networks and our server capacity. And a word here for those of you on the accounting side, for us as a supplier, one of the problems we have to think about solving and ensure that we solve on your behalf is there are thousands, tens of thousands of leases for which you need to run calculations, and everybody runs them at about the same time, monthly or quarterly. So we have invested heavily in server capacity and infrastructure to support performance on behalf of our customers and the widely varying portfolio sizes. Some of you have portfolios with 50 or 100 leases, and we have portfolios that are over 50,000 leases. So the infrastructure work here is really important. And then finally, on the compliance side, we invest heavily in compliance so that those of you on the phone today have a successful journey with your internal IT group, your info security group, and your internal audit groups. We do SOC audits twice a year now. We have a proven business continuity plan, and we continue all of our penetration and vulnerability testing. And what that ensures for you is, as your other stakeholders come to you to evaluate the platform that you use, your corporate governance organizations, We've invested heavily to ensure the journey of success there. Couple of slides on lease data services. We have an in-house group of very talented professionals here, attorneys, paralegals, and lease admin professionals with years of experience. It's a US-based organization, so we don't do any of this work offshore. And they have completed hundreds of successful projects with customers with thousands of leases. And, as we look at our customers, we think you're busier than ever. So let us help you out. We're hearing from customers that there are data validation issues and issues with data quality when you encounter audits, and we do perform gap analysis and audits of missing or inaccurate data. Certainly perform lease abstraction, both bulk and ongoing abstraction when there's a change or a disruption in your portfolio. Due diligence support, and we also offer training, and we can come in and help you with your internal processes and for lease administration and for data management. Please reach out to us if these services will assist you. And in some cases, customers have told us, we used to do this ourselves, but we could use some help right now because we're really busy with some other higher priorities, and we'd like some help with lease data services. A couple of other topics to wrap us up here. We have a number of external relationships that are very valuable to US customers. In the companies that are shown here in the upper left, many of you completed projects with Deloitte or PwC or RGP or other alliance partners. We did almost 100 projects in conjunction with these partners, and they continue to recommend our product and also be implementers of our product. And we also have key integrations with technology suppliers. This is more on the accounting side for those of you in the real estate world, and key integrations with helping to automate finance and accounting. Finally, and a good reminder for everyone out there today, we have strategic relationships with service providers in the corporate real estate space and real estate management space, and with companies like CBRE, Cushwake, and JLL, and them providing occupier services to companies that are out there. They serve over 375 customers using our products to service those customers. So they use our lease administration products, our transaction management products, and in some cases our lease accounting products to manage a large portfolio of customers in servicing their needs. And many of you have relationships on the real estate side with these companies. This is a strategic set of relationships for our company. So in wrapping up, we continue to invest in all the services that surround you as a customer. And we thank you ever so much for being our customer and for participating with us in these services and the different things that we provide to you. To wrap us up and talk about a look forward, I'd like to turn it back to Andy Thomas and let him finish our session this morning. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Dave. That was a great summary of many of the things we've been working on since really since the beginning of the year, and some things we had already started last year as well. And one of the things I'll just reiterate, and Dave spoke it as well, is just making sure that you're aware of all of these things that are available to you and the possibilities that exist to get better service out of your real estate manager relationship. So I'm going to move on, and I am not going to show my video, but I am looking to get the slides advanced now. Okay, so at these events, and we've had events like this over the last 20 years, one of the tasks, or in other case, the honors that I get, is to be able to talk about what might be on tap for the future of CoStar Real Estate Manager and our solutions and services for you. Like other years, we have a roadmap of what we're working on, and we work to communicate that to you. And we're pressing forward with those things. Once again, though, we have those, but in so many ways, this isn't anything like a normal year. So these are 4 areas that we're always working on your behalf. And one of the things that has happened, the slide will advance, is just dramatic change. This global pandemic has wreaked havoc on what normal operations have been, not to mention what it may have meant to any of our families along the way as well. Your companies have been impacted in many different ways, and there's a lot of different companies represented here. Some are wrestling with what to do with decreased product or services demand, while others can't keep up with the dramatically increased demand for their technology products or their e-retailing businesses. No matter what, there has been a massive amount of disruption is what I'm looking for. And this has really turned many of our businesses on their ear and caused us to have to figure out how to answer some big questions. So we've all got big questions that we have to answer now, like how to decrease operating costs, how to increase operational efficiencies. Are we keeping up with our lease accounting compliance? Where do we need office space? How much? What flexibility do we have with our leases? What alternatives do we have for non-performing stores? Can I sublease them? What stores are available in new locations that we want now? And are we confident that we're getting the best rent deals in this market? Now, what that has caused for us is Newton's law. So I'm a Georgia Tech engineering type, a little bit nerdy at heart. And so this is what came to me. So one of Newton's laws of motion has hit us. The need for accelerated change in how we approach and operate our businesses. Newton's first law is that a body at rest or in a constant motion will stay at rest or in that motion, constant motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an external force. Well, the pandemic has certainly served as a pretty significant external force, mandating the acceleration of how we change. Now, acceleration is the change in velocity over the change in time, and it is what we need. And this happens to be the formula for acceleration, or at least one version of it. We need to be able to change at a faster rate than we might have been comfortable changing, even if we look back to 2019. So we've accelerated some of our future as well. And there are two areas specifically that I'm going to focus on today. One is increased automation. The second is having great actionable data, and it needs to be available to you to help you more quickly be able to derive answers to some of these big questions that we talked about. Here are some of the things that we're working on for you and for your businesses. Increased automation. Increase in process automation leads to operating efficiencies, higher quality outputs, and potential cost savings, all things that companies are interested in today. Many of these changes are related to lease accounting, which requires constant vigilance to maintain compliance. Other items, batch remeasurements, for instance, a huge issue for our customers who are managing large numbers of equipment leases. Touchless accounting, which helps move in workflow through the process without having to go in and touch every single lease, which is what a starting point requires you to do with the new standard. And then an increase in integrations capabilities. We've always had these capabilities, but we continue to work on our ability for data exchange and integrations, which are crucial to successful automation. Additionally, we are addressing some lease administration payment functionality, most specifically, ability to manage quarter days, which is something that's been important for our especially UK customers for quite some time. On the analytics and data side, we want to bring you more ways to help optimize your lease and your financial data, and combining data from both internal and external sources in order to increase your decision-making abilities. We know that you need this data to be accurate and provided in an up-to-date manner. One of the biggest things we're doing is bringing the power of the CoStar data to you in different ways. Now, Mark McDonald is going to talk about something very specific that we have developed over the last several months. And it's something that would be available to you now, given the approach that you want to take with managing some of your real estate portfolio. But I get to talk about some of the fun and future stuff as well. So it's taken us a while to get this on track. We've been a part of CoStar for 9 years, and we've reaped tremendous benefits and have been able to pass those on to our customers. And you'll see some of those as well in Mark's presentation. But we're working on how we can put the most powerful commercial real estate network to work for you. Research is what CoStar does. We've got over 6 million properties that we track, 129 billion square feet, 1 million active listings, and this is constantly updated and added to, and we're continuing to extend it on a more global basis as well. It is the most comprehensive source of real estate related data available anywhere in the world. Another aspect of what CoStar brings is real-time market and sub-market reporting. The analytics for each property type and this markets and sub-markets provides an unmatched understanding of what the real estate trends are in these markets and sub-markets. CoStar uses the immense amount of data collected by our researchers and overlays local, national, and global econometrics to arrive at our projections about market rents and future supply and demand of different kinds of space. And you can see there that our group covers office, retail, industrial, not as important to this group, multifamily and hotels, but all of those property types are tracked in great detail and available to you all through the CoStar information application. And we're working to bring more of that to you in CoStar Real Estate Manager. So in the not too distant future, we will be bringing together the Real Estate Manager functionality with the power of CoStar information in a unified interface. Real estate and accounting users alike will have access to the appropriate analytics and information fed to you in an automated way to help you have more complete access to the real-time data necessary to be successful. And it's interesting the number of use cases that are applicable to real estate, but also to the accounting group as well, as things like fair market value calculations and decision making about other cost structures are important for you managing your business. So it's going to have great value to all parts of the organization. While this version is still a little bit in the future, and I jumped slides, but this version's a little bit in the future, our progression to the unified state will also result in much sooner advancements in the current Real Estate Manager user interface, which is something that many of you have already seen and helped us with in providing feedback and participating in beta tests with us as well. This restructuring will also lead to continued performance and reporting enhancements as well. We appreciate the feedback we've gotten from you all so far, and we'll continue to be seeking that feedback as we make it available to more and more of you. So these innovations will still take some time, but we are moving rapidly. Not only advancing the core functionality of the application, but also making sure that you have the increased automation and access to great data and analytics that you need in order to help your businesses be successful. Now, we're gonna take a short break, and one of the things that we structured into this time was the ability for you to take a break if you need to check some emails and do some things that that are important for you to keep moving your business forward, then we've given you that opportunity. We're going to come back and start promptly at 1:15 p.m. Eastern time, I'll note, and we're going to hear some short synopsis of what's happening in the office markets, retail real estate markets, and industrial real estate markets from the experts from CoStar. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them when we come back. But again, we appreciate that you all have joined us today. And so we will take a break until 1:15 p.m. Eastern time for those of you in other time zones. And we'll look forward to introducing the folks from the CoStar Advisory Group at 1:15. So thank you, and we will see you shortly.
Hello again, everyone. Now I'd like to introduce Mark McDonald, who will be presenting on portfolio planning and management. Mark, over to you.
Thanks, Convey, much appreciated. Hello all, we appreciate your time and attendance today. My name is Mark McDonald, Vice President of Customer Success here at CoStar. And the topic of this session today is portfolio planning and management. So we're gonna hope to piggyback on a few things that you've heard of already today. If you've listened to Andy's session on what's next and what's in the future for CoStar Real Estate Manager. and then also combining a bit of the market analytics that we just heard from the advisory team. What we're going to focus on in terms of the planning session in general, we're going to start off with, why are we talking about this at this particular time? So going through what we're hearing from other customers, what's important to them as it relates to making strategic decisions about their portfolio, and how we may be able to help with that in CoStar. So starting with the why, we'll go into the how we're going to approach this as well in terms of a few of the tools that we'll be able to offer, and some of the additional data elements that you'll be able to capture within the CoStar Real Estate Manager platform that haven't been the case up until now. And then leaving the session today, your sales execs, customer success managers, or client services teams will be able to answer any questions about how we might enable this within your environments as we go forward. In terms of the why, so the portfolio planning topic is certainly more important than ever to our customers today for a few different reasons. Obviously, given the state of change or the state of flux in the commercial real estate industry that you just heard from the advisory team, it is critical to have speed and access to information and perhaps the pace of decision making across some of our customers as it relates to the real estate portfolios is very critical, and so that's certainly a cause for concern and something that some of our customers are reaching out with and have asked for help with. As our customer base has grown, we've seen the number of, or the M&A activity across large public global organizations, has certainly accelerated. So, quickly analyzing portions of the portfolio, what that means for, longer term strategic decisions for either acquisitions, consolidations of certain companies, or perhaps divesting business units is certainly critical. There has absolutely been an eye on cost savings as a result of the slowdown across general business activity for some of our customers. Real estate is no different compared to some of other departments that's being asked to identify where we may be able to pinch some pennies and save some dollars. So we'll touch on how that may be impacted by portfolio planning and some of these tools. And then lastly, the COVID-19 business impact. So we're not going to talk about the pandemic too much, but I think that underpins a lot of the commentary that we'll be touching on relative to portfolio planning. And certainly a lot of our customers are theorizing right now about what the future state of the portfolio looks like. So what the footprint of the future may dictate, and certainly how some of the leases and locations in their current portfolio may impact that future footprint decision. So these are, again, just why the portfolio planning aspects and certain discussions are topical today. When we talk about portfolio planning, so apart from the things that I've just mentioned, what does this discipline typically entail? We may have some customers on the phone today that are not necessarily having a hand in making these decisions, but I think it's important just to maybe set a baseline for what we mean when we talk about this, and it certainly cuts across the different types of verticals that our customers occupy. So it's not just focused on an office or an industrial type of footprint, but certainly for any type of market that our customers may be competing in, this applies. In general, when we talk about the strategy and planning aspects, making confident, insightful decisions about real estate, so certainly the data that you're tracking about your current locations and leases within the CoStar Real Estate Manager platform today ties into that, as does for some of our customers the transaction activity or that deal pipeline activity, certainly plays a hand in this as well. We're going to talk a little bit about location performance in the presentation today and how that relates to the planning topic. In this case, being able to monitor that. Again, this is going to be very applicable to an individual customer, not just a utilization performance for, let's say, a corporate or office occupier, but other types of location details that may be important as we're making decisions about our real estate, which could be sales or revenue figures for a retailer. It could be some industrial or warehousing types of elements for somebody that's occupying industrial real estate. So that location performance could have a bit of a different meaning across the board. And then how do we set priorities that the real estate team is executing on behalf of the business? So not just documenting what our plan might be, but how we choose to approach it and in what order we choose to approach it. Helps us both prioritize the capital that may be executed on behalf of the business, but also might lead to either a pause or changing of order relative to those transactions or projects that we're working on. And if our customers can be successful in this today, obviously this is something that's occurring pre-COVID and not just in the current environment, but if we can get better at this, if we can improve or make this more organized, we expect to be able to increase visibility across the various stakeholders. I think in light of the pandemic, the various stakeholders internally to organizations have perhaps been a little bit more or scrutinizing a little bit more heavily the state of the portfolio today. So where previously this may have been a business and real estate decision, more increasingly the HR teams, risk management teams, other types of departments within the organization certainly have a hand in and are interested in the information relative to those decisions. This will also help us establish those strategies, being able to quickly report on and reprioritize those strategies for the location, and then be able to track our performance against those. So hopefully this is setting the context of what this, the strategy topic entails, and what some customers are, needing a bit more help on, or certainly applying, much more time and attention to in light of the current environment. So how are we helping customers with this? What are some of the things that are there today, and some of the things that we're expanding as a result of this topic? So certainly the strategy and the timely access to information is certainly there, but what we're trying to do a better job of, or provide more access to, is that market data sourced from CoStar Suite, or that research platform that you've heard about from a few sources today. How do we appropriately take your current portfolio or your current real estate locations, and how do we create a match such that you're able to report on that location data and that location footprint from CoStar as well? How do we combine that information alongside of headcount, capacity, or other types of location performance or utilization factors for each location? So we'll touch on some strategies and some approaches that our customers are taking. How do we consolidate this information into a single report? So we'll talk about the net new product effort that's creating this report. And then how do we also incorporate in some of those strategies, and how are we reporting on the execution relative to those strategies or plans that our customers are doing? So we're going to take a dive into each one of these. What do we mean by each of these? How our customers are sourcing this today? And then again, if you're not, I encourage you to reach out to the channels that I described previously if this is something that you are interested in. So the first component is the research side. So Andy Thomas alluded to this in his previous presentation. I promise I won't go into a physics lecture, although if we thought accounting was a bit of a dry topic, apologies, Matt Waters. Physics may be a little bit more so. So well done, Andy, there. But the first component is the research aspect of it. So the inventory of information collected from a number of different sources across the commercial real estate ecosystem and marketplace. So certainly details relative to buildings and photos and images certainly being important. But over 1 million listings for sale or for lease, which are highly applicable to our customers as they're going through and making those decisions relative to their in-place footprint. That's tracked and captured by the CoStar research team in a number of different ways. So certainly the calls into landlords, building owners, brokers, commercial real estate practitioners. I'm sure a number of people on the call today have probably gotten a call from a CoStar researcher over time, so that's certainly a component of it. There's also a number of different automated approaches to the access and capture of this data too. Tenant canvassing and automated data collection for things like retailer store locators on the internet and other types of postings of information, all going into trying to gather the availabilities and changes relative to the markets and submarkets that you have a presence in. So we mentioned a number of different details on properties today. We also mentioned the analytics component, which is zoomed out a bit from each individual property and displaying detail for each of those. And then certainly that both historical and forecasted or expected forecasted information based on those econometrics, some of which you heard about in the previous session. So all of that information is captured, and what do we have the ability to do today? So in your current environment, a number of customers have already enabled this. You have the ability to create a match, meaning your address at 123 Main Street is linked to the data in CoStar Suite, And once that match is created, a number of different pages are returned that allow for a subset of users in your environment to be able to access this information and make decisions relative to the portfolio. And to date, since this was initially enabled, the primary use case has been around the lease renewal decision. So it's taking a look at your current location, determining what CoStar research has captured relative to the occupancy of the location in terms of the aggregate square footage, what's vacant, what's leased, what those percentages look like. Try to determine what available space is currently being marketed by the landlord, if it is an unoccupied, multi-floor building as an example, or even an unoccupied, single tenant space that's on the market, and then also provide what the historical leasing activity looks like at that particular location. So trying to give you historical detail relative to the tenants that are in the space, the square footage that they've leased, and if the asking rents are known, what that detail looks like, so that you can see, what the landlord and tenant may have come to terms to in that location previously. On a go-forward basis, and something that was just released a few months ago, is an additional tab relative to market analytics. So this expands the use cases outside of just the previous renewal decision, and now encompasses a little bit more around that portfolio planning. So you're able to see not just what's occurring within your location, but what your peer group inventory and analytics look like in the submarket. Meaning, if you are in an office location in a central business district, what does your submarket look like, or in a relatively close geographical footprint to your location? And then what does the market in aggregate look like for a similar type of space as well? So it's trying to put in place, from an analytical point of view, what that detail looks like. For things like asking rents, availabilities. We heard a lot about the subletting of square footage and how that's increased drastically market by market. So that information is there, and in not just a renewal decision, though certainly applicable there, also very important as it relates to what you might do with a location relative to consolidation or other real estate decisions that you may be making. There's also a number of other use cases on the CoStar matching side as well. So, being able to perhaps factor in how you might negotiate certain concessions in your leases. If you were to expect to terminate or consolidate or sublease, that's certainly a component there. And some of our accounting users are accessing this information to support their fair market value analysis relative to their spaces, and to support or to back up certain accounting assumptions and accounting calculations that are there. And then certainly for the separate types of uses relative to leases in net new locations that don't exist in your portfolio today, being able to leverage a full CoStar Suite subscription in order to see that. So certainly that is something that is Andy talked about being a little bit further down on the roadmap for us relative to connecting those two CoStar experiences together. But certainly a lot of valuable information and data at your fingertips, even in the current component. So that was the first case of wrapping up what that general detail looks like relative to the market research, and how you may be able to take advantage of that today on a location by location basis. And we'll touch on what's next relative to the planning reporting in just a second. So certainly the underpinnings of CoStar research being very important and very applicable. The second component that we'll talk through, and that we'll pull through on this planning report, is what does the location performance look like? And I'm using a typical type of office scenario here relative to the headcount and capacity of a location initially. So in this case, we have a number of customers that are loading their headcount. This could come from a number of different places, from, let's say, a Workday or a PeopleSoft type of HR engine that exists within the enterprise. This could be sourced from a third-party space planning platform if you're using separate technology to manage that. Or this could just be uploaded on a recurring basis from a spreadsheet. So we'll talk through some of the methodologies there relative to getting this in, but automated or more manual uploads, the idea is you're loading that within the CoStar platform on a recurring basis. And then certainly that's applying to some of the different types of space utilization and different factors that you heard about previously relative to what that future footprint looks like, and what the current state is absolutely needed in order to determine what the future footprint is going to look like. Underneath headcount and capacity here, I do also have sales data listed for our retailers. So for a non-corporate type of location, we are certainly feeding in some data relative to that, so you can see what historical trends look like relative to sales, and that also underpins some other type of accounting calculation and sales reporting aspects. That also is a common feed for our non-office occupiers or our retailers. So the research component, what this detail looks like for space utilization or for the performance of a location, independent of asset class. All of those are a few of the underpinnings into what our location or lease strategy is going to be, and both documenting this strategy as well as the expected capital to execute on it is another best practice that we're communicating across our customer base. Going into this individual location strategy review are a few different things. One is that lease expiring. So, certainly into the future, that's going to be more a reactive type of decision, but absolutely an input into what your strategy might be. Does the location fit the needs of the business? So a little bit more qualitative here, but determining what the business fit for this location is. A great example pre-COVID was, one of our customers had their corporate HQ was located in one of the further out suburbs. They were having trouble retaining and recruiting top talent coming out of some universities based on where their footprint was. That was some of the feedback that they were hearing from their individual candidates, and they determined to pick up corporate HQ and move it a little bit closer into the CBD. So again, that was more of that qualitative decision relative to business fit and business need, but certainly something that we expect to impact that location strategy review on a go-forward basis as well. We just touched on the utilization data, so I'm not going to go through that too much, but obviously an input into the location strategy. The cost performance, this is your current lease structure or perhaps what's been negotiated in an option, and how that cost performance in current lease terms may compare to the current market or what's available in current market. And that is, again, an input, what those deltas look like and how are we able to determine those. Certainly something that's listed there. And then finally, what other options might I have negotiated in my current contract? We obviously focus a lot on the renewals as they're the most prevalent, but do we have any early terminations or break notices for our international contracts? What other type of expansion or contraction options perhaps do we have negotiated in the lease? And how those might factor into the location strategy review certainly could be important. So a number of different factors going into what our go-forward plan looks like. But once that is arrived at in the recurring planning sessions between real estate and the business, where are we capturing that? How do we have the ability to document that? And hopefully, how do we not cram too many spreadsheets together in order to arrive at that conclusion and to report on that on a recurring basis? So a number of those different things, starting off with the research side for that CoStar research data. Then going into the utilization components of the application, the strategy itself, combining those two sources in a planning report is what we're attempting to do here in order to, again, eliminate some of those spreadsheet gymnastics in one hand, where we have the data relative to your locations and leases, that current CoStar Real Estate Manager information that's underpinning the application. Being able to bring in either from one of those HR, ERP types of sources or just a spreadsheet upload, and being able to view that employee headcount and capacity information or that location performance as your business dictates. Those are certainly two things. And then again, over on the left-hand side, a reportable pull, so not just going into one specific lease and clicking on the building for 123 Main Street, but being able to make reportable CoStar's market analytics as it relates to those asking rents, vacancies and availabilities, again, both at the property, the submarket, and the submarket peer group, so like kind or your cohort types of buildings in the geographies that you occupy. So all of this detail is going to be available in one report, so as to again reduce the spreadsheet complexities that you may be experiencing today. It will be an addition to the standard system reporting package for the subscribers that are licensing our portfolio management solution. And the typical types of system report filters around portfolios, hierarchies, geographies, and options are going to be there. We'll be able to do some conversions back to square feet and dollars, or a measurement and currency of your choice for our international customers, and also being able to isolate this report on a specific asset class as it's defined in CoStar, kind of underpin this planning topic, and our customers have the ability to slice and dice their portfolios based on these individual factors. So we're certainly excited about this. It's in, I'll call it a rough beta version today. We've talked to a few customers conceptually about it. But again, if this is something that you see your real estate teams and the real estate leadership, and in concert with the business leaders, if you think this will be helpful relative to setting what that portfolio plan looks like, again, reach out either to your customer success manager, account exec, or support channel in order to get this enabled. And then maybe just to talk through the workflow a little bit relative to how our customers are going through and licensing and importing the data relative to making this useful. The underpinnings relative to some of the utilization metrics certainly hinge on that headcount and seat count location for the office portfolio. There's a component of the data in the report that will have utilization metrics specific to cost and area on a per square foot basis, but also cost per head or per seat. So you get some utilization metrics there. Also, you'll have some cost efficiency data that is listed in that particular report, such that you can see the cost to the business for your lack of utilization in a location. So it's a little bit of a different way to look at this, but certainly can be helpful from a planning standpoint. But in order to do that, certainly importing that data relative to the headcount and capacity is important. Being able to combine that with your current portfolio information. So that's just the location, lease abstract data that you're capturing relative to rent, to square footage, and to options today. We also have a new concept described as a flexibility score for each lease that's returned in this report. The default here is a fairly simple type of scoring mechanism. If the lease is coming up for expiration in the near term, and then based on the number of different types of options, renewals, and others that may be included in the lease going into the future, the higher the flexibility score. Some customers have pointed to this as, we have a pretty thin real estate group, and we want to be able to bubble to the surface the areas where we can go take some action and make some quick decisions, but also have a number of different decisions that we could make or could potentially need an answer on. So that flexibility scoring is a component of this report. The strategy side will allow you to prioritize, what those plans look like, and then certainly if there's any, cost savings relative to that consolidation or to the deltas in rent compared to market, if you happen to be over today, that's where we're hoping to point you in that right direction, and being able to compare your current lease structure relative to cost per square foot and remaining obligation compared to that CoStar market analytics component to be able to see what that additional information might look like as we go forward. And then we mentioned the strategy and that planning aspect of it, being able to dictate not only the individual component, but also some other qualitative information relative to that strategy, helpful in the recurring executive reviews that a number of our real estate teams are doing with the line of business leaders on some recurring basis. We've heard from a number of customers that it's a quarterly type of planning activity. Being able to document this is certainly important, and that's certainly something that a number of our customers have asked for. And then over on the right-hand side, you'll see some additional metrics that we're working on. Again, we've described these previously relative to things like the utilization and certainly the average square feet, both on a per seat and then average square feet or average dollars on a per square foot basis being a component of the reporting as well. So to summarize, certainly our customers are in need of this particular data, so that the tenant occupiers and being able to have solutions connected, not just their real estate data relative to their locations and leases, but also being able to access on a real-time basis the commercial real estate market analytics, have that combined with some of the other details relative to their internal analytics and combined with their location performance information in order to go through and certainly help to drive cost savings, optimize the portfolio and make their appropriate decisions relative to what to do with each of those locations. And this is our answer, if you will, in the near term to be able to combine the work that you're hard at work doing and managing relative to the data in CoStar Real Estate Manager today, and continue to leverage the tools and data available by CoStar Suite in order to make that a more effective and streamlined experience. So with that, we're going to conclude a few minutes early, apart from my allotted time. And up next at 3 o'clock, we're going to hear from Pete Perez, Group Manager of Real Estate at Ryder, and my peer Kelly Kepley, who's Vice President of our Lease Services team, relative to portfolio optimization. Thanks very much for your time, and look forward to your participation a little bit further on this afternoon.